There's nothing like the holidays at Universal Orlando. From dazzling parades and magical moments to hidden gems that make the season unforgettable, I've got your holiday plans covered, whether you're dreaming of Grinchy mischief or a butterbeer by the Christmas tree. So let's unwrap the magic together. Welcome to Unlocking Universal, your key to Universal Orlando. I'm Holly, an OG Universal fan, Orlando local, and professional destination specialist. I've spent years helping people just like you plan their most epic vacations, and now I'm coming straight to your earballs. Because you've got big memories to make, I'm here to help you make the most of every moment. Say hello to your unfair advantage. Your time is valuable. I don't do small talk. Let's jump in. Welcome back, my friend. My name is Holly, and I just recorded this entire thing without turning my mic on, so let's try that again. Well, you may have guessed by my name, Holly, that I am a holiday baby. December 19th, as a matter of fact. So I've got 5-ish things to tell you about that you really want to do, really want to take advantage of to make it your most magical holiday at Universal Orlando Resort. So the very first thing I want to talk about today is something that actually happens in both parks, Universal Studios Florida and Islands of Adventure. And that is going to be visiting the Wizarding World of Harry Potter during the holiday season. Now, if you have been in Hogsmeade, you know that it kind of looks a bit Christmassy all year round because it has the snow caps and, the big snowman with the witch's hat on down at the end by the bridge and all that. So that's pretty cool. But also in Hogsmeade, if you kind of hang out a little bit and you watch maybe the Frog Choir. Well, the Frog Choir does a special holiday edition of their songs, and that's a lot of fun, and that's definitely a festive thing to do. But for the most festive Wizarding World adventures, I'm going to head over to Diagon Alley. And when I get into Diagon Alley, I am going to go in and go to the right, and I'm going to go over by the stage. That stage is where we can watch Celestina Warbeck and the Banshees. Now, I think sometimes the shows get overlooked because everyone is just so driven to, maybe, ride Gringotts or, do all the iconic things that some of the little side things that this theming really matters and can really plus up your day, and this is one of them. So at Christmas time, during the holiday season from in November, mid-November through the end of the year, they're going to be performing Christmas versions of their Wizarding World songs, and yeah, they're pretty interesting. And I'm not going to spoil them for you, but I will spoil the fact that if you hang out over there, it is going to snow. And I am a northern girl, and I don't miss the snow. But like a lot of things, I miss the idea of the snow. So I get my fill with what we down here in Florida call snope. And it does snope during the show, which it's very, very festive, especially if you have a butterbeer. Now, if it's a cooler day, hot butterbeer is the way to go because hot butterbeer, my friends, is the superior butterbeer. But if it's a warm day, and it very well could be right into, in December and everything, it can be quite warm here in Orlando. I'm going to go with the frozen. The cold's good too. Yeah, as long as you have a butterbeer, it's all good. I think that's the way to go. So you're definitely going to want to do that. Now, we're going to head back over to Hogsmeade, but we waited to do that because we need to do that once the sun goes down, because there's something very special that happens in Hogsmeade once the sun goes down. There's a very special castle show this time of year, and it's called The Magic of Christmas at Hogwarts Castle. And it is a beautiful story, and it's projection mapping. And I will tell you that if you have seen the projection shows on the castle in years past, they've been good. You definitely need to do it again because the mapping has come along so far. It is so sharp and so crisp, and the colors are so vibrant. You almost don't believe it. Like when you take pictures of it, if you have, even on your iPhone or whatever, halfway decent camera, it looks like you've retouched the pictures, that you've modified them because it is just so beautiful. So you definitely want to do that. That is a wonderful way to end your day at Universal Orlando, would be by watching this show and then slowly making your way out of the park. The second thing on my list of absolute must-dos for the perfect holiday at Universal Orlando is to watch the Macy's Parade. Now, the Macy's Parade happens over at the studios, generally about 5:30. Now, don't quote me on that, because you want to check your app always because things can change. But generally it's about 5:30, and I even have a special place to watch the parade. Now, there's no wrong place to watch the parade. For instance, if you want to watch it as it comes out, it comes out kind of over between Cafe La Bamba and where the horror and makeup show is over in the Hollywood section. You can watch the parade and boom, you're off. You're back in the back of the park shooting aliens before anybody else even sees the parade, right? That's cool. There's no bad place to see it. But my favorite place to watch the parade is in New York, right in front of the tribute store or the RH Macy's building, across from where the Christmas tree is. Now, there's two reasons for this. One, that whole area, the New York area, is just extra special to me. I'm a New Yorker. I'm not from the city. Everybody thinks you're from New York, you're from the city. But I have a special appreciation for New York at Christmas time. And it is beautifully decorated. And as the sun goes down, so the parade starts about 5:30. As the parade gets to you, it's going to have gotten a little bit darker. And just looking through that whole area, it's in and of itself, it is just a beautiful, peaceful sight. Even if there's several hundred or thousand of your closest friends around, it is absolutely beautiful and something that you won't forget. But two more things. One, it snows over there. It doesn't snow all the way around the loop, the parade route, but it does in that area. And two, when Santa gets to that area, he lights the tree up. Okay, that's pretty special. That's almost like, it's a huge extra bonus, right? You're not gonna miss anything necessarily if you watch it somewhere else, but you get extra if you watch it there. So once you're there too, we are gonna move on to my number 3 thing, and that is all things Earl the Squirrel. Now, do you know who Earl the Squirrel is? Because there is more than one famous rodent in the Orlando area, and I think you know one of them. He lives down the street, but we also have Earl the Squirrel, and he has his own book now, as you can see. So Earl dates back several years in Universal lore where an actual real squirrel lived in one of their trees and would cause a little bit of fun chaos. And they embraced it. And now Earl is a holiday fixture. And I couldn't be happier about it. You can do a meet and greet with Earl. So yeah, I'm kind of cheating on this one because there's multiple Earl the Squirrel things, but we're just going to label it Earl the Squirrel because it's my podcast. You can meet and greet with him. The times will be in the app. And because most people don't really know about Earl until they do, really. You know what I'm saying? They're not going down there going, I need to meet Earl the Squirrel, for the most part. So the lines to meet him really are not going to be that long. And it's outside of Mel's Diner, like kind of between Mel's and where the crepe stand is, kind of in that little area right over there. Do you have any characters that you really, really love and kind of get excited about still? It's just fun. That suspension of disbelief is just so good for our brains and our hearts, I think. But anyway, so meet Earl the Squirrel. Now, we move back over by where we were watching the parade. And while you're over there waiting for the parade, or maybe before you take your official spot that you're going to claim, look up into that giant tree, the big main tree that's right across from where the tribute store is, right by Gramercy Park there. And find Earl, because Earl still lives in that tree to this day. And he comes out and he goes back in the tree. So you might look and not be able to find him, but you got to look because he moves. And he'll be in one spot, but he comes out and then recedes back into the tree. So you have to find, that's one of the things you have to, every year. It's like, okay, where's Earl? We got to find Earl. So that's what you got to do. So Earl the Squirrel, he's absolutely on my must-do list. I have my favorite Christmas mug is my Earl the Squirrel mug, which I don't have here in front of me right now. So I'm going to lose my Universal card, I think. But yeah, it's awesome. Earl the Squirrel's awesome. You're going to love him. You can thank me later. So that's 3 of my 5. Number 4 on my list is actually probably like the one thing that I just find to be so incredibly unique. The celebration of Grinchmas over in Islands of Adventure in Seuss Landing. Again, we're gonna cheat on this one because there are several things over there that make up Grinchmas that that are on my must do for a perfect Holli-day, and that's going to start out with the Grinch and Friends character breakfast. Now, if you're on the socials at all, you may have seen some really kind of scathing assessments of this at the beginning of this year, or the beginning of this season when they first started. There were some problems at the beginning with how they did the flow between people having their breakfast and meeting the Grinch, because the Grinch has his own meet and greet within the breakfast. It used to be that he would walk around table to table, but now, because of the size of Circus McGurkus, has been expanded, because they took out the whole like cafeteria part, so they added more tables. It's great. It looks beautiful in there. But the Grinch has his own like stationary area where you go to him. And I guess the way they were doing it was people would come in, they would have their breakfast, talk to, the citizens of Whoville, and then go meet the Grinch. Well, because so many people were finishing at once, that line got really long, and people were not happy with it. Well, Universal was paying attention right away, and they fixed it pretty much right away. I'm sorry for anybody to have a bad experience, but I'm so grateful that Universal takes care of things the way they do. Little commercial break here. My so Brian gets a little miffed at me whenever we're leaving the parks, because usually by the time we're leaving the parks, we're pretty tired. And you have the team member come up to you with a clipboard. Hey, can I ask you a few questions? And he's like wanting to make a beeline out, and I'm like, yeah, because I have seen them take feedback and put it into place on more than one occasion. And so I believe in them. So I like to give them, I'm happy to give them my honest feedback anytime I can. And yeah, I know Brian's tired and he just wants to go home, but I'm always going to do that. So sorry, honey. So anyway, they got it all straightened out. And a few days later, we went to our uh, Grinch and Friends holiday breakfast, or Grinch and Friends breakfast. It was me and Brian and Harper and Elliot, and we had the absolute best time. I highly recommend this for anyone. It is probably one of the best character interactions and character meals overall that we've ever experienced. And there's a lot of them down here in Orlando and at multiple parks, and there's a lot of good ones, and then there's some that aren't so good. This one, really super good. They did a great job. Universal did a really good job from the staff, the team members that are checking you in, to the our server was phenomenal. She was so funny. That's such a hard, I could never do that job, because you've got to read everybody and know, like, especially if you've got kind of like a little cheeky personality. Some people aren't down for that. I am. We are. She read it. She did it, and we had a great time with her. So she seated us and she gave us our menus, which the menus have lots of different options, but not like overwhelmingly too many options. So that was great. And she said, "I'm going to take your order." And she kind of looked over to the side. She said, "I can see that there's only a couple families in line for the Grinch. You're welcome to go meet him now, or you could wait until after your breakfast. Totally up to you." So we're like, yeah, we'll go meet him now. So we did. We waited just a few minutes. we got to talk to the Grinch. Harper, she kind of got to argue with him a little bit, which she loves. And yeah, she's the one. If you go to Rise of the Resistance at Hollywood Studios, she's going to like be arguing with all of the stormtroopers and anybody who's trying to tell her what to do. So it was really funny. She was ready for the Grinch, but not only did she want to kind of go toe to toe with him, she made him a bracelet. So that was very nice. We got some nice pictures, and it was really good. We get back to the table. There's a nice little tray of little mini muffins and croissants and stuff. That was nice. Our drinks were there, and shortly after that, our food came. Kids had the green pancakes, bacon and eggs. I had waffles with like a strawberry compote and bacon and eggs. And the three of us, it was scrambled eggs. Scrambled eggs were not good. Now, I don't like the negativity, but I'm also going to tell you how it is. And that's one of those things that I think I did. I think I had an email survey and let them know. It was like either they fussed with them too much and they were just like little granular, curdy eggs, or it may have been the kind that you pour out of a carton and you do them. But yeah, they weren't good. Whatever, it was fine. Everything else was really good. The bacon was thick. It was cooked beautifully. It wasn't like an overcooked or undercooked mess, and it was very good. Kids liked their pancakes. Now I left Brian out because his meal was special. He ordered chicken and waffles, and it had like a hot honey drizzle on it, and on top of that, it had the most beautiful and most perfect sunny side up egg I have ever seen in my life. You would think that this is not even real. It was so beautiful. I really need to post a picture of this egg. So, like, the albumin, the white part was completely cooked, but the edges of the egg were not like browned or turned up or anything. But all of that white, there was like no, slime. There was no slime. And the yolk, it was pristine. It was absolutely gorgeous. And he said it tasted amazing, and he wished that he could get that dish, normally in the parks. It was very lovely. So our meals were good. Our interactions were good. We talked to a lot of the citizens of Whoville. It was awesome. They stay so much in character. It was just a lot of fun. Sam I Am had a little meet and greet area on the way out. Got some more pictures. They had some backdrop things that you could get some pictures with. It was overall a really great experience, and I can't wait till next year. I think, it was just if you're into like memory making experiences, which we all should be, because that's really all we ever come away with, right? Is the memories. We've talked about that before. Do this. Now, the pricing is on par with any other character meal. I think it was 59 for adults ages 10 and up, and then 3 to 9 I think was like 33. Absolutely worth it. It was just totally worth it, and I can't say enough about it. Good job, Universal. Knocked it out of the park. The improv actors that they use, with the Grinch, they are just spot on. They're wonderful. So that's great. So that's one. That's the first thing I would do. Now the other thing that you just absolutely have to do as part of the Grinchmas celebration is to go to the Grinchmas Holli-day Spectacular. Now, this is a live show with, actors, including Max the dog, actual dog. He's there. And it takes place in the Blue Man Group Theater, which is, if you go right between Circus McGurkus and One Fish, Two Fish, Red Fish, Blue Fish, you go through there. It's actually really right between that and Universal Studios. Sometimes they open that road up to go in between when it's really super busy. But it's in there. You're going to want to get there a little bit ahead of time. The times play several times throughout the day. You can find those times in the app, and you definitely want to get there a little bit early so that you can, get the seating you want. And you're just going to smile so much during this show that when you come out, your cheeks are going to hurt. You're going to have to, like, you need to go, like, where can I get a cheek massage? Because it's so well done. You think, oh, it's a theme park show, it'll be good, but how good can it be? Well, let me tell you, if they did like a full length, like a longer version, like how the movie is with Jim Carrey is like super long, and compared to, like, if you read the How the Grinch Stole Christmas book, like if they added to it like that, I would pay to go see this. It was so good. The performers were wonderful. These aren't just like, okay, let's, random cast. We got random team members. Mic her up today. This is that, blah, blah, blah. The narrator, oh my goodness, she was mesmerizing. Cindy Lou Who, the Grinch, Max stole the show, of course. The sets are, amazing. They're intricate, they're colorful. You are in Whoville. And the retelling of this story is spot on as far as the feels. It's going to give you all the feels in all the right places. This show is 100% not to be missed. 100% not to be missed. And it snows in there too, which just adds to the whole, oh, I'm going to say the word, I hate this magic. Okay, I said it. Whew. Didn't hurt too much. Yeah, that's overused a lot, so I try not to use it. But this show, I'm telling you, it is something extremely special, and you really need to go do it. So that is the Grinchmas celebration over in Seuss Landing. And the Seuss Landing itself is all decorated wonderful, and you can meet the Grinch. I like to say a la carte, but out in the wild. But you either need to make sure that your hiney is in liney first thing in the morning when they open up for regular park hours, because the Grinch is not available to meet during the early park hours. At least he hasn't been up to this point. Of course, that's everything's subject to change. But you want to be in line right straight away, or that line, if you look in the app at any point, you're going to see it can be hours. The wait literally can be 2-3 hours. You don't want to spend that amount of time. Is it worth it? Are you going to have a great interaction? Yeah, you totally are. But you don't need to waste your whole day, because there are other ways to see the Grinch. First of all would be during the Grinch and Friends breakfast. And the second way is also my Number 5, must do for the perfect holiday celebration, and that is the Universal Holiday Tour. Now, this, like the Grinch breakfast, is a separately ticketed event. It's really kind of like a mini VIP tour if you want to think of it that way. Both this and the Grinch breakfast, if you're wanting to do it, you need to be ready. You need to have maybe a travel professional on your side that's watching for this stuff, because both of these, the holiday tour and the Grinch and Friends character breakfast, they will completely sell out well before, if you walk up day out, you're not going to get a spot. They're highly sought after. But I think that I think the highest price I saw this year for the holiday tour was about $110 a person, which, it's not cheap. But what do you get for that? Well, first you get a an exclusive meet and greet with Santa. You can give him your you can give him, I was going to say, your birthday list. You can give him your Christmas list. My birthday is so close to Christmas, it might as well be the same thing anyway, right? You get reserved seating for the Grinchmas Holli-day Spectacular, which is really nice because that saves you time earlier in the day, because these tours start later, like late afternoon, because they extend till after the park closes. They last about 4 hours and 15 minutes, I think it says. But, generally, we have to decide on vacation. Here's a little breakdown. What we want to spend more of, time or money. So if we decide we spend the money on the tour, that's going to save us time that we can use on other things earlier in the day. So the Holiday Spectacular, you would get the reserved seating for that. So you're going to get really great seats, and you're not going to have to wait in line for it. So there's that. Then there is priority access to one, and the wording is pre-selected attraction. The reason it's like that is because it can vary. If something is perhaps, not, how rides go down, whatever. Mostly this year has been the Villain Con Minion Blast, and they would do that around the time that you would meet Santa Claus. So you do a couple things over in the studios, come over to Islands of Adventure, and when you come over there, you're going to see the Holiday Spectacular, and you are going to have an exclusive meet and greet with the big green guy himself and his faithful companion Max. So this is the only place that you can actually meet Max in person, like officially. Now, granted, he is at the Holiday Spectacular, but he doesn't stand out there and like do pictures and meet and greets and stuff. But you will be able to get a picture with him if you do the holiday tour. So, I mean, that's pretty cool, and it's pretty cool. Ooh, fun fact: did you know the name of the original dog that played Max? In the Jim Carrey version of How the Grinch Stole Christmas, his name was Mushroom. How cute is that? I don't know. I saw that the other day. I just thought that was really super cute. So when you have your meet and greet with Max in the Grinch, it's also like a time to kind of sit down, and there's going to be snacks. There's going to be like small plates, both savory and sweet things, which is nice because, I mean, sweets, treats, it's great, but you're out in even if it's the heat, even if it's not a really warm day, you don't want just sugar in your belly. So it's nice that there are some savory things and, beverages and stuff. And you get a picture taken, and you'll get to pick that from the Universal Photos app. That comes with that too. So after that, the final thing, and this is the cool, I don't know, it's so hard to say it's the coolest, because I mean, what's cooler than meeting Max, right? But so as the park closes, people are getting swept, what they call swept out. All these little VIP holiday tour groups, because each group is no bigger than 12 people, which is nice because if you have questions and stuff you want to ask your guide, you can go ahead and do that. That's nice to have access to that. But as people are leaving, y'all are going to be escorted back to Hogsmeade, where you're going to have a private showing of the Magic of Christmas on Hogwarts Castle. I'm not going to use the word magical again, but it is super cool because, if you got the elbow room, you don't have, 3,000 of your closest friends like squishing you up into, one spot, and you see the show, and then, team members are trying to get you to move along because that area there can kind of get bottlenecky. And so you've got space, you get to watch it. You're going to get to stand where you want to stand and see this stunningly beautiful show. And then it's time to leave. Well, you think, oh, that's it. It's all over. Well, it is, but the leaving of the park is actually, in my opinion, part of what makes this tour really cool, because if you have ever been able to exit a park or be in a park when there's relatively nobody else in there for any kind of special event or anything, it is amazing, because the lights, of course, are going to be still on, and the reflections, with the water, you're going to be able to take some beautiful pictures that you would never otherwise be able to take. And it's just a nice, calm, way to kind of finish your day, strolling out of the park. You feel like hot stuff because you are a VIP at that point, and it's just a really great way to end your day. So that is my list of 5-ish things that I would add to my perfect Holli-day. Now, what do you need to know about these? You need to have at least a 2-park, 1-day park-to-park ticket. So be sure that you do that. If you have a Universal coach or a travel professional of your choice that knows what they're doing, they're gonna set you up with that anyway. So that's like in case you don't have a multi-day ticket or whatever. But you do need to have that, because even the Holli-day tour and the Grinch and Friends breakfast, those you still require park admission. So that's what you need to do. So yeah, so that's my list, you guys. Next week is Christmas. Please come back and hear, because I don't know, you want to come back and make sure that I've made it through the holiday. I don't know, it's up in the air at this point, because Christmas is not my favorite holiday. I know that's an unpopular opinion. I love it, but okay, and you can tell me if you're with me or not. It's a lot, right? It's a lot of peopling. It's a lot of demands. And it's like this unending to-do list. It's a lot. I absolutely love it. And when I need to reclaim that feeling, because that feeling that you love. That's why we watch maybe the holiday specials, and we go caroling, and we plan these different events with the people we love, is so that we can get back to that place of remembering how much we love it. And yeah, one of my favorite ways to do that is to pop into the parks and do these things. And it gets me back where I'm supposed to be. It resets my expectations, if you will. So check back in with me next week. If you found this to be helpful or entertaining, please feel free to share it with a friend who may do the same. Come back and laugh with me or at me. Like I said, I'm okay with both. And if you leave me a star-worthy review, I can guarantee you that your next butterbeer will stay hot or cold, your choice, for an extra long time. Now go on, get out there, wrap your presents, and go do something nice for someone. Okay, love you, bye.